For the Christmas market scene, we didn't have very much time to light everything. Luckily, I had imagined that we might be in this situation, so we called on the Astera tubes to get a really strong look very quickly without the need to run lots of power. And this setup involved trying to light a fairly large space outdoors, but also light the interior of the market stalls as well. For the interior lighting setups, we were going with the Astera tubes, throwing the Astera tubes up high into the stalls, and then relying on the gem ball as the light for the area. So that was our area light thrown up very high on the boom. Generally with the gem ball, what I was trying to do when the talent were walking through the Christmas market scene was have the gem ball slightly behind them and moving along with them as they tracked through the space. We then had a couple of runners holding two Astera tubes on the left-hand side of the talent, walking with them. So you got that lovely side light from them. They're a little bit rim lit by the gem ball, and the gem ball's giving enough light to the area behind them that it doesn't feel like it's just falling off to complete darkness. We did have a couple of options on some ARRI 150s deep in the background for bokeh. With the falling snow coming towards the camera in this scene, it meant that the lens kept getting hit with falling snow, and having those lights in the background just flared it out too much. The moisture on the lens really didn't play nicely with those deep background lights. So although they would have been nice, practicalities meant within 2 shots I just said, nope, we'll go without those and just rely on the gem ball to give us our background illumination. Finally, the family come to the stall and they're all drinking hot chocolate. Again, we've got the gem ball behind them, just giving area illumination to all of the extras who are moving around. And then in the actual market stall, there's an Astera tube and then 2 Astera tubes held off to the left-hand side by another grip who's able then to make sure that they're moving a little bit in with the family, catching all of their faces and giving that lovely side light dialed into the right color temperature. It matches with the tungsten and it all fits together really well. To sum up the lighting setup for the market scene then, we had Astera tubes in each of the market stalls, so that's 3 Astera tubes in those market stalls. We had 2 Astera tubes being Hollywooded by a grip, just following the talent wherever we needed, keeping it to the correct side of the frame for us. And then finally, we were using the 1K gem ball, and that was on a big stand with a big boom, so that we're able to move from one spot without having to roll, because that would have taken up too much space in the area we were in, but just booming around, following the talent just behind them to act as, again, area light, but also a little bit of an edge light on them to cut them out from the background and really bring it all together with that magical Christmassy feel. Having the Astera tubes was really useful. It allowed us to stay nimble, and that was very important at the end of the day. They were kind of my fail-safe when I was looking at the kit list, because I knew that worst case scenario, we could just throw them into someone's hands and just get the shot that we needed, and we wouldn't have to grip anything in or do anything complicated. And indeed, because of the way things go, and because of the fact that we were working with children on this, we had a hard cutoff at 8 o'clock, and we couldn't go beyond that. So having that option, by the time we got to the end of the day and things are getting tight and things are getting pushed, we were able to just say, okay, go with the Astera tubes, throw them in there, you grab a couple of them, run along here, up a little bit, down a little bit, left a little bit, make them a little bit warmer, done. So although I love the ARRI S360 and I loved the gem ball, the Astera tubes were the star of the show because they were able to be thrown into the places that we need them really quick. In the next part, we're looking at the logistics of having the client on set with us and what that means for having a really solid mobile video village that can follow us around to the different locations, and how we actually used our Teradek wireless system to feed the video image into that, regardless of what setup it's on, whether it's on the jib, whether it's on the Ronin, whether it's on sticks, whether it's handheld. We had to have a solution that was going to allow us to have that wireless monitoring of 2 cameras in every single location.